Hello, good morning, everyone. So today here we are for creating a HTML form and connecting the details of the form to a database. And for making use of the database, basically here we are going to make use of the PHP programming. Okay, and for that we are using the XAMPP platform. Okay, which is giving us a multi-purpose tool that will be serving us for acting as a for the Apache server along with the MySQL. And not only these, we also have Tomcat over there for making use of the Java scripting and all, right? So we are making use of these tools here right now for giving the connectivity between the HTML form and the database. So here we go. What are the things that we need here for making the connectivity between the HTML form and the database? First of all, you need to create an HTML form, and then I would suggest you all to go with the XAMPP platform. Okay, it's an open source tool that is available uh, to download free of cost. And the installation process, you can be viewing this. I will also provide this link in the description box. You can just go and check over there what are the steps for the installation is given. And for Notepad here, to make your coding very easy, I would like to suggest you to make use of the sublime text. It helps you to code the text very easily and efficiently. So let's get started. So basically, HTML form is used to collect the user input. The user input is most often sent to a server for processing, isn't it? So basically, it's a kind of labeling. Things are required: text boxes, buttons, radio buttons, everything is needed over there. So we designed the form basically over here by making use of the HTML tags, and it contains various elements. The form element is the ideal one that will be used for creating the form. Okay, and it is acting as a container which will be helping us to take the input from the user in the form of the text fields, check boxes, radio buttons, submit buttons, etc. And here is a list of types that we can act as, that we can give as an input through our form. So here are the various forms. That is nothing but the text field, radio box, radio button, check boxes, and submit button, and usually a normal button if you want to make use of it. Right? So let's begin. So here after installation, you can see my XAMPP folder over here. In that, there is very important document folder. Okay, ht document folder this is. So here you're going to go and create one folder. For example, let me take it as example folder, right? So in this I will be creating one folder. So for this, let us go and open it into the XAMPP. Now let's go and initiate our Sublime. So in the search bar, I'm typing there Sublime Text. This is an app. You can directly go and easily install it, right? And over here, we are going to open the folder whose name is example, right? That we have created. So we have opened our example folder that we have created in the XAMPP HT documents, right? And now right click onto this example and create a new file. and save it as index.html. So we have saved it. So this sublime text helps us to make the coding very user friendly. You can see over here, as soon as I type here HT, it's going to give me the snippets, okay, which help me to make my coding very user friendly, right? So in the title, let us give the title as registration form. So first of all, we are designing over here our HTML form. Now once it is done, we will be going for the connectivity between the HTML form and the database. So for that, let me use over here inside the body tag div. So it's going to make my form into different sections. I would like to design my form into different sections. So for that purpose, I'm using here div. So class, first of all, I want to make it as a container class. Another div for maintaining the sections. Such as row, column spacing, okay. So the form must be occupying how many rows and columns. For that we are giving this. And finally another div command we are using, and here we are going to design the panels. So inside this primary panel, we are going to divide three sections. One is the heading, the header, the body, and the footer. So let me design that now. So inside h1 tag, I would like to give there as registration form. So this is my header of the div section. So I would like to close my div section over here. Now the body of the div comes here. So now let me name it as panel body, and I can name over here, this is body section. Right, so the body part has been completed. Now let us go for the footer. So this is footer section. Done. So this completes our div section. So let me just show you by saving it and running my Apache server. So you can see my Apache server is already under progress. So you can see this. When you open the XAMPP control panel, you can go and make a search, give a search to the XAMPP control panel over here. So once it initiates, you can see like this. This is the second panel that I have initiated. So the server is already on. Okay, and MySQL is also running. Just minimize this. Now, after this, we are going to our browser. And now I am into my browser. So here I need to type localhost and inside my localhost I'm going to run example. So this is the thing that we have done, right? This is my header section, body and the footer. Now, so we will be designing this part now. So let me first make you familiar with the footer. Footer is very, very simple. Like if you want to give any copyright symbol over here, so you will be making use of it. So I want to make over here the small small tag I'm using, and there the copyright symbol. For the copyright symbol I will be making use of copy. Suppose for example the company name you want to give there, you can assign it like this, right? Just save it and check your registration. Now this you want it towards your right hand side, so you can give it text hyphen right. So hope you have understood so far. Now we are going to change this body section. So in this body section we are going to add our basic form. So that is nothing but I would like to initiate here one of the form. So there it goes with the form tag. We are initializing our form, right? And there it has taken its own div. So you can mention in this div as class, as we will be making that class as our form group, right? So inside this, now let us label the first part. Label for is equal to, so we are naming it as for the first name, right? So for first name, how it should be visible to the user onto the screen. First name, and as I said, due to this sublime text, the coding becomes very easy for you. And the first name should be entered in the text box, right? So for that, let us make use of the input field as type is equal to, since this is our text box, so let me write there as text. Okay, now it also takes the class as, so it is one of the control of the form, so we will write over here as form control, and then we are going to specify the ID is equal to the first name. Okay, and name is equal to again the same first name, right? So this completes our one div section. Let me just save it and take you back to the browser. So this is our existing form. So you can see here first name, labeling, and the text field has been appeared. Likewise, I would like to make the sections for the first name, last name, email ID, gender, contact number, like that. So I would just like to copy this section, copy this and paste it over here, and make this first as your last name. And in this Sublime, you can make use of Control D to make the multiple modifications. So we are going to name it as last name, right? And here also you will be making it as last name. And here also it goes the same thing. So last name we have made. Likewise, I would like to make one more div section for our gender. So I will just paste it once again. And for the gender, I would like to change here as gender, right? And here also gender. And in the Sublime text, you can make use of this Control D and convert it as gender, right? So the class, this one, it's not going to be the text field, it's going to be for the radio button, right? So the type should be label for gender, just a minute, label for, first of all we are going to make it for the, yeah, this is for the gender one. And now let's make it for the male, female, and others category, like that. So I require here one more labeling, label tag, right? And inside the labeling I wanted for is equal to, this is for the male category, right? And it belongs to some class. What am I using over here as radio? Radio hyphen inline class you are making use, because in the radio button you can make use of the any one of the selections, right? For that purpose we're using it. And next is now here in the input field I would like to make it as the radio. And name as again gender. So let me remove this class from here because already we have mentioned it in the label category. Now I would like to make the name as gender. Then ID we are having and followed by the value. Value, like since it is male, so I would like to assign it as M. Now finally that male we will be writing over here, followed by label closed, right? So in this way I can write it for the female and the others category as well. So this is for female and this is for others category. You can just change from here. So this is for female and wherever there is a male you can change it to female for the second option, and this M will become now F. Similarly over here now for others category, yeah, you can give the value as O. It belongs to gender category only, and over here let's make it as other. Let me just move this ID over here, and here I can assign the ID as male. This ID I can assign as female. And again the third category I can assign it as others. Since I have written there other, so let me write the same thing. Okay, so this completes our creation of the gender. So let me just save it and check once. Wow, wonderful. So this has been generated. Now coming to the next option, that is email ID. So again for the email you can make use of the same div section, as we are going to create the label and the text box there. So you can make use of the same label and the text box. Just convert the name over here as email, and here you can give it as e-mail. ID also again email, and name also again email, right? Email, then I can make use of the password section again. Password, and here also you can mention it as password. Text box only we need. Right, password is done, and finally one more section is needed for the phone number or contact number. And we can make use over here as contact and name it as contact number. Yes, done. So this completes my HTML form designing, right? Now, let me just go and check it in my browser, the design and the outlook of it. So these sections we have done, and if you want to make the view very simple and easy, so here you can get the spacing over there, proper spacing if you require, and for that you can make use of this command for spacing. It's not a command, it's a representation, we can say. In HTML we basically use it. Likewise for password as well you can make use, and even for the phone number I think you don't require it. Okay, few more at this end. Now apart from this I need a break section there, so BR tag I'm using. Yes, after this we require one button over here, and for that let me make use of the input field. Type we are going to use submit. Class we will use as button. Let me just check it once. Here I'm adding a BR tag out of the div section to give me the proper spacing, and I need few more NBSP spaces. Okay, for spacing I require this. Now, so this form has been designed so far. Now next step is moving towards our PHP coding for giving the connectivity to our database. And here, as I told you, we are using the XAMPP platform, okay, where we have the Apache's web server, and together we will be having our MySQL as well. So you will be easily able to make the connectivity and run it onto the browser. So let me take you to there. So for that, let me create a new folder, a new file over here named as so let me create a new file and let me name it as connect.php. So we are going to make use of PHP over here. So I'm saving it as .php, right? And for that, I require to make the changes in my form here, as I will be making use of the form as so inside this form action attribute we will use. So we are going to apply it onto the connect.php, and method we have, which is nothing but post method, right? So this completes our HTML form to give me the connectivity between the PHP and HTML. Now next step, here we are going to write the PHP code now. So PHP code always begins with so in this tag we will be writing the code for the PHP, and each of the input variable, whatever we will consider to make it store in our MySQL. So we will be denoting it over here first. So since we are going to post it, so likewise I would like here my 6 attributes or 6 variables, I can say. Right? So first name, then we are going to the last name, I can make use over here as Control D option to make the changes very easy. Next we have gender, and after gender we are having it for email. So far we have initiated all our attributes, you can say, or variables, you can say, that we will be using in our database. Now, the next very important step, the control panel that we have initiated already. Compiled. So in this, you can see over here my SQL. Click on to the admin, and here you can click on to this new database name. You can create as example I gave, right? So let me give the same as example and say as create. Now give the table name over there as registration. And how many columns we require? So I'm making use of 7 columns there, and it has been created. Name the columns. For example, first of all, I would like to use the ID. Okay, it's of integer type only, and here we require primary key as an attribute. Okay, and auto increment is needed for this. Now then, first name is needed, so I'll make use of the first name here. This is of varchar, nothing changes. Last name, again this is of varchar type. Next we are having here gender. Let me create it as NM, and let me set the values of the NM as M, F and O for male, female and others category. Then we have, after gender, we are having email. Email again we can go as varchar. Password, and there we go as varchar again. Contact, we require it to be integer type, so here I can give it as big int. Now we can set the limit. Suppose the name size you want to assign as 25, last name, gender, email ID 30, password only 8 digits or something like that, and contact number 10. Okay, so this is the settings that we have made. Now you can say it as save. So you can see the database is ready for you now. Now the next step, I would like to give the coding now for this connectivity. So let us go back to our PHP code where we have stopped. So now coming to this, we will write here our database connection code. So for that, con new MySQLi option, there we will write it as, very important point to note here, we will make use of the local host, that is our server name followed by the username. So here the basic name of the user is that is XAMPP platform, whatever you're using. So that username is root, Password, we are not having anything, so it's null. And finally, the database name. So the database name that we have created there as example, right? Here we will check if the connectivity has made properly or not by making use of a conditional block. Con.connect connect underscore error. If it has been established properly, if there is any error, so you can give a message as a connection failed. Now, coming to the else part, now we are writing the query for insertion of the data into our database. So prepare is the command used here, and there we go with the query for insertion as insert into our table name is registration, then followed by the first name, comma the last name, comma gender, comma email, password, and finally the contact. So once this is done, we will assign the values here as question marks, comma, to all of them question marks, because we will be taking them from the user 1, 2, 3. Now I'm using the bind option for binding the parameters. Here you have to remember one point. All of these columns we can say in the table are of string type only, excepting the contact. So all are strings, so I will be using here 5s for the strings, 5s, and I for the integer, right? Now coming to the So let's execute it. So I'm going to write there as execute. And once the execution has become successful, the user will be notified with an echo message, and that is registration successful. So statements closed, via connection also we are closing here. Now just save it and go back to the browser, refresh it. Let me enter few details. Muhammad Abdul, female, since the details has been submitted. If I'll go back to the browser, where this was that, So now fill the form. Now when I hit the submit button, you're getting the echo messages, registration successful. Now you can go and check this in your database. Just refresh this. Thank you so much. Hope you have understood. So that's the end of this video. Thank you.